Hi there. So let's have a look at this new moon equinox for the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. So here we have on the 21st of March a new moon equinox, which means that the new moon is at 0 degrees Aries, which is the position of the equinox. So I would normally do a video for the new moon, and I'd normally do a separate one for the equinox. But because we have this equinox falling exactly on the new moon, on the 21st of March, we are looking at the month ahead, we're looking at 3 months ahead, and the equinox at 0 degrees Aries, which is the spring autumn equinox for New Zealand, Australia, and the spring equinox for the Northern Hemisphere. That's the astrological new year. So, we can, this is to me covering the whole year because it's the imprint, the energy of the 0 degrees Aries chart. So let's have a look at Cancer, starting with the first water sign, and I'm going to be looking at the astrology and then doing a tarot spread for each of the zodiac of the water signs. So the sun moon for Cancer, this new moon equinox energy, is sitting in your 10th sector. It's also accompanied by Mercury and Jupiter, which is all sitting here in Aries over this period of time. So with it being in your 10th sector, this is a sector relative to your goals, your career, your direction. So if it's if it's not about your career as such, it can be about where you're wanting to, where you see yourself, the goals that you have in mind, what areas you're wanting to achieve for your future. So it's like the goat, because it's a placement of Capricorn, at the top of the mountain. He's got to climb to the mountain to get to his ideal situation with the best view. So when we have anything in the 10th, this is a very strong position. It means that you can have a very strong focus on your career direction, and also you might come up with, new ideas for, for either business or for what you're wanting to achieve for your future. And with Mercury, Jupiter there, this is a great time for expansion within career, business, and for achieving your goals. It could also be really good information coming through, some paperwork to go over, any legal information could be of great value as well for you at this time, signing your documents. With Mercury and Jupiter there. So, with this position, it's very much one of the strongest productive places to be in that 10th sector. It means that this is a time you can really shine and feel the success that you're working towards, and also create more of the same for yourself. So the 11th sector, in your 11th sector, which relates to your friendships and teamwork and connections, you have Venus node sitting in there. So we've got a lovely Venus node conjunction going on in Taurus. And, this in your 11th sector means that this is going to be an excellent time for Cancer to be socializing and connecting up with others. Also means it's a lot of productivity can come through teamwork and, working within the community or working within groups. So you have the Mars. Now Mars has been in Gemini for a long time. It's just moved, it's moving into Cancer on the 25th of March. So we have Pluto going into Aquarius on the 24th of March. Now actually I will mention that because Pluto will be sitting in your 8th. And then it goes back into your 7th. So, this is a time when you are going to be really clear about what direction you're moving in, what you're wanting to clear away from or let go of, what changes you're wanting to make at this time, or what you're wanting to release. So, Mars is moving into Cancer, so that's going to be sitting in your first sector. So Mars is, it's all about your energy and your drive, where you exert your energy, where you place your energy, it's physical energy too, as well as energetic, spiritual energy. But it's, it's how we sort of, the actions we take to manifest it relates to sports and activities and so forth. So Mars in the first, you're going to feel physically active. You might decide you want to do a bit more exercise, or even, you may just find that you're very active out in the public, because the first sector is all about coming out into the light, into the public eye, and you just might find that you've got a lot going on there at that sort of personal, interactive level with others. So Cancer, let's see what the universe wants you to know about for this cycle. And like I said, this is covering this month, but I feel more so 3 months ahead with the equinox. And, in June we'll have the solstice. So, that will set another scene, so to speak. But it is still covering the year, because, we are moving into the true new year on the 21st. Okay. Nice. This is lovely, Cancer. You have really good energy around you at the moment, which is good, because I feel like you've been not in a great space. You've been going through, either concerns around health or concerns around finances. But either way, it's not a big concern. It's not a real concern. It's more worries. You might find that you're just really needing to detox and rest. But you have a really good shift of energy going on. So I don't feel concerned about health issues or money issues, because you've got fantastic cards here, and as this is showing in the recent past. So this is where you've been. This is how you've been feeling. You may even be feeling this right now, depending when you're watching this video. But, right up to the 21st, or even around the 21st. But, around that time, you're going to feel this new energy come in. So there's a shift of energy that's really powerful for Cancer, where they're going to come up with some really creative inspiration for change, for what they're wanting to create. And it's also a strong feeling of calm and peace coming over the star sign. So that's really wonderful to see. Now, any Cancers that they're into music or into crystals or into spiritual things and healing and energy work, the intuition, all those things, that's really enhanced at this time. But, for all your others, it's really just that you're going to feel more tuned in. You're going to feel more connected, and you might even find that you have certain abilities or gifts or things that you're wanting to express more relative to this vibrational energy. So very uplifting energy. Also, this is a time of change, and you're ready for change. You're sort of over where you've been. It's like you're ready to. It's like the change is firstly like a change of attitude. So in other words, when we're down, sometimes it's just we're worrying too much. It's really, like I said, I wasn't too concerned about this feeling either depleted or needing to detox, or feeling like you're just financially just strapped and you can't move forward, because that's a lot to do with the mind and the perception. And with the card you've got covering you, it's quite different. It's like there's this full, I can achieve anything with that card. I can manifest anything I want. So it's a real shift of energy. It's a real shift in attitude. And so what I'm saying here is, with the change is first inner change. It's an inner change where you start to perceive things differently. You start to see all the wonderful things in the world. So it's like your energy is shifted up a notch, and then you start to attract really fantastic things coming in. So you've got some really good changes. I think you're going to get a bit of a leg up from the universe to get you in this mode. To be honest, it's like, I feel like this could be, you'll be wondering why you're feeling so good when nothing's changed. But there is a lot of things to feel excited and good about. So what it looks like on your focus is around property and security, and achieving your goals and ideas that you want. You've got some really big plans here for security, and when I say big plans, they're not ridiculous. They're very grounded. Cancer is very realistic and grounded. It's more like, this is what I want to work towards. This is what I want to build up. So like I said, that's where the real, the reality comes in, the realism comes in of that you've got to, create the foundation, and you've already got the foundation here, and you can build on that. But again, creative inspiration is coming through, creative ideas are coming through, and this again is because you've opened more up to your higher understanding, to your higher self, and to the universe, receiving information about who you are, your soul, and what you would really like to do. And when I say creative, it can be anything. It's more that there's skills here that you've wanted to utilize that you really haven't had time to, I feel. And I feel like with this new lease of life, it's almost like you've been in this bad space and got this new lease of life, and you're just really excited about it, and you really just want to make your day fulfilling. You want to make what you do and what you create completely fulfilling for you and satisfying. There is an issue up here, of course, like I said, you've got fantastic cards, but we can never get away scot-free from difficult ones. And it's an issue, and it's in a position where you can take this on, or you can change it. So because you're going through spiritual changes, more uplifting energy, more trusting energy, more intuition coming through, it's like you're going to be presented a situation where those that you're close to, and I sort of want to say family, and sometimes it's not family, but it feels like it's family at some level. So if they're not your family, they're going to be someone from another life, someone that was family from another lifetime that's just here to bring this for you, and it's not great. But it's where you are made to feel guilty and responsible. I think Cancer takes a lot on board. They feel responsible for things that sometimes they don't need to. They feel guilt sometimes for things they don't need to. Sometimes they do feel it because they're not great communicators and they haven't truly expressed their full truth. So that's sort of in a way how they keep things to themselves and protect themselves, but that can be used as ammo to manipulate Cancer, so to speak. Cancers aren't really manipulators, but they can be subjected to it by being ruled by the moon. They also, have the energy of Neptune esoterically. So, that can make them very psychic and very tuned in, but very sensitive. And sometimes, they keep things to themselves. They can be a bit deceptive. But, with the situation, it sort of feels like, that you've also got that Piscean energy with that Neptune of feeling responsible or taking things on board, or in other words, what I'm trying to say is don't let others make you feel bad or guilty, especially in this situation. This is manipulation. There's no reason to feel guilty. Now, if you weren't honest about a situation, or that you've created this, just try to be honest. Just try to open up, because I think that that could be coming from a situation that you have developed in a dynamic of a relationship where there's this person sort of not in full trust because they're feeling like you're keeping something to yourself. So it sort of gives you, it does disempowering you. It's not empowering you. You'll find your empowerment through opening up and just speaking your truth and speaking your heart. And then you can release it. Then you can let go. And I mean, it may be nothing you need to do. You may not have to open up and admit to anything. You may just need to just say, I'm not taking that on board. Just because I have these qualities of moon and Neptune in my astrology doesn't mean that I'm going to be sitting there being the martyr or taking this energy that you're just projecting on me. So it's going to depend on your own circumstances, and it's also in a position where in this particular spread where it's like it's there as a test. It's like you don't have to take it on board. It's just there. So it's like something we could potentially react to. That's the position I'm talking about. Or something that we like, an opportunity. This position can also present an opportunity that we actually isn't just destined. We need to take it. There's something we need to do with that position. Or we can just choose, if the cards aren't so great, if it's all head stuff, that's what I'm seeing here, we can choose to ignore it. We can choose to go, no, I'm not feeling that. Maybe we choose not to share something because it's going to create too many problems. And we just go, I'm not taking that on board, So I think the hard thing is that it comes from those that we feel closest to and that we have loyalty to. And, Cancers are very loyal and very protective of those they feel close to and love, especially with family. So your outcome here, again, like I said, you've got all this sort of higher vibrational energy going on, and you've got a really strong intuition going on. You've also got people. You'll have really strong senses about certain people around you, because I feel like you're going to be joining with another and making some changes in a legal way, in a financial way, and this is all about trust. So when it comes to your trust, and you're going to do this, there's no real issues with it. Just trust your intuition, and you do that. I'm giving you this advice, but I can see that you do that easily, that you will just go with what you feel, what feels right. But check in with your heart if you've got any questions about it, because again, there is a practical side to Cancer as well. But what I see here seems to be a real shift up, a whole level, a whole notch to do with Cancer, for soul connections, for their family, for those they're really close to, for financial security, and for legal documents. So I feel like there's going to be good news, whether it's about purchasing property, anything that we're signing documents to do with, to do with money and security. So either property or contracts, but this is to do with people that you're extremely close to. This isn't just to do with a business contract or something like that. This is to do with what you're sharing with others, what other family members are doing, or what people that you're close to, what your soulmate's doing, and bringing you sort of into that picture, because this is a sharing situation. So yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. Any Cancers that are sort of on their own, this is going to be the time to find your true partner that you can really be productive with, that things can be in a great balance with. So new relationships are going to be really rewarding for Cancer. But any existing relationships are also going to be forward-moving, productive, and quite exciting to be taking on board new projects and new things. Looks really exciting for Cancer. So I hope you enjoyed that, Cancer. Now moving on to Scorpio, the second water sign. Now Scorpio, let's have a look at your astrology. So for Scorpio, for those just tuning in now, we're talking about the new moon equinox. So we have the sun at 0 degrees Aries, that is the equinox, and it's falling exactly on the new moon. So I'd normally do a video for both, but because it's falling on the new moon, I'm doing it all in one. So what this means is that we have a cycle of a new moon, which is a month. We have a cycle of an equinox, which is 3 months. And we have the cycle of the sun at 0 degrees Aries, which is the equinox, autumn for New Zealand and Australia, spring for the rest of the world, well, for the Northern Hemisphere. So that actually is our astrological new year. So we've got a year cycle that sits within a 3-month cycle that sits within a month cycle. So I feel that the spreads that I'm doing here are going to be about the, setting the energy, and even the astrology I go over, that's setting the energy. But, it's going to be covering the 3 months more predominantly, but it can extend out to the whole year, because this is the energy, like I said, of the year, and that will be layered again with the next, with the solstice, winter and summer solstice, depending where you are, and then the next equinox in Libra. So, Scorpio, the sun-moon position in your astrology is in the 6th sector, and you've got Mercury, Jupiter in that position. So for Scorpio, you're going to have it's going to be all about, work and career. This is where your productive energy is going to be. It's going to be where your focus is. You could look at your contracts and for your career. And it looks like, it's the place of the 6th sector relates to your work and also your daily routine. So if you don't go to work, if you're a stay-at-home mum or something like that, or you just work from home, this is your home environment as well, because it is your day-to-day routine and it's your work environment. Also sort of expresses what's going on in your workspace, and this just looks like it's a very productive time for work for Scorpio, with a lot of activity going on. There could be like really exciting news coming up for Scorpio this year about changes, about how they can move forward in their careers, and like I said, this feels like you're going to be looking at contracts. Now, you also have Scorpio, you have this Venus node connection, conjunction in your 7th sector. Now, that's a perfect place for it to be, a beautiful place, because it's Venus node is all about love, relationships, and connections, and sharing with those that we feel a real union with, and we feel a lot of sentiment and understanding. It's like soul family, but it's also very much about love and affection, and it is a love union, and it's sitting in your 7th sector of relationships. So you're getting a double dose of that. So any Scorpios on their own, this is a perfect time for love. Otherwise, in existing relationships, this is going to be the time when things are going to really, feel productive and move forward, and a lot of affection and love shown. So things could be unsettled in this sector of the 7th sector for Scorpio. Well, they've been unsettled with Uranus there, and it's been there for a couple of years now. The outer planets sit for a long time here. So your 7th sector is actually, effectively Taurus, because, here you sit Scorpio up here, and 7 signs away from you is your opposite sign of Taurus. So like I said, you've had Uranus sitting there. That means that things have been a bit disruptive through relationships, or they've been up and down, or they've been, started, and, they sort of, had this unsettled energy. With the Venus node there, it feels like that's all been there to show you the differences, to help you to understand what you're really wanting in your life. And with the Venus node, once it comes in, this is where you recognize what it is you want. So, that could be the person next to you, the love of your life, or that could be someone new. So let's have a look what Scorpio wants. The other thing I'll just mention, what Scorpio has got going on. Let's have a look what Scorpio's got going on in the cycle. The other thing I just wanted to mention, looking at this, because on the other side of things, where you've had Uranus in that 7th sector, you've also had Pluto in your 4th sector, so that's a bit challenging. So hold on a second, Pluto in the 4th. Yes, okay, sorry. Pluto's just moving into the 4th. It's been sitting in the 5th because it's moving out of Capricorn Philae on the 24th, and it moves into Aquarius after that. It's only sitting there for a few months. It's only at 0 degrees, and it goes back through Capricorn for a little bit. So effectively, it's going back into your 5th sector, which has been your place of, it's been transforming your sort of place of, what you do for leisure, what you do for fun. And also things around children would have been possibly putting a bit of pressure on, or changing quite dramatically. As it moves into your 4th, that can feel like a little bit of a power struggle in the home situation. So that's where I'm going with that. Now, you're only going to have that for a couple of months, but it will come in and sit there for quite a while by December 2024. So this is a time when we can, for Scorpio, really be clear about your boundaries and your own personal power in your home environment. And if you set those right boundaries, then you won't have a problem. Otherwise, there could be a few little power struggles going on, or you might be just wanting to transform where you live. So, there could be some changes in lots of productive ways, but you could feel a little bit, cramped where you are, or this is not ideally where you want to be. Sorry, I'm bumping the table and making the board wobble. So, like I said, just going to get a touch of it, and I feel like it moves back into the 5th. And this is sort of like what Pluto's done the 5th. It's allowed you to look after you. It's allowed you to focus on what your needs are, what you enjoy, what you want to do. And with Pluto moving into the 4th sector, that's when it comes into the home situation. That's when you go for a whole transformation of living and home changes. So that's what you can expect. You're just getting a touch of it over the next couple of months. And then, like I said, it really kicks in for December 2024. So what does the universe want Scorpio to know about for this equinox new moon? Okay, so again, we're getting to do with relationships, and where there's sort of been disappointment, and you may have felt you were giving out and not receiving. I think what you're really wanting to connect into soft relationships, not hard situations, meaning you're wanting a genuine connection with others. So if you haven't been feeling that with your partner, this is a time when that can be addressed. This looks really good. Really good. Fantastic. Yay. Yay for Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Interesting, because I was picking up firstly, that, some things haven't been working out for relationships, but, that's just learning about yourself as well. But you have had great connections, great friendships, great, what I'd call sisters and brothers to you. Now, that doesn't mean that we're talking about your physical sisters and brothers. This is your soul family, but, you're starting to draw in, and this is saying the recent past, you've been drawing in a lot of very strong soul connections with like-mindedness, particular objectives that you're sharing, and I feel like this is taking you into a new level of, and bringing you into this is bringing you into the right situations around relationships as well. So, good news around something here again to do with documents that you're signing for. It's an area that you're really passionate about, and this is to do with your ideas, but I'm getting that it's, maybe you haven't had the time, maybe your life's been a bit out of balance and you haven't had the time to work on this particular project or ideas. You're going to get to do that, and I'm getting, again, relative to signing documents. Now, if that's not completely accurate in your case, it could just be that, things are coming to a better balance. But I think you're going to find there's quite a few really important opportunities and situations around Scorpio where they can get on with their passion. You're really good with research. You're really good at, once anything really that they just stick their head into is like just they want to go for hours and hours and hours on end. That's their focus. If this is what they're into, this is what they're going to be talking about, this is all they can focus on, and it's like wanting to take things to another level within their interests and ideas. It's like you're going to be able to achieve what you want, and I do feel like there's some paperwork with that that's just going to go, yes, this means that I can move forward. This is really exciting. Great time for security and a great time for bringing in money. Also, excellent time for really anything you're wanting to achieve, because you've got the winning card, you've got the Ace of Swords covering you, which means that you're in a winning time. This is going to be a great year. This is a year when you start to move forward financially. This is a year when you're going to be surrounded in abundance, and it's just going to be abundant of lots of things, abundance of soul connections and friendships, abundance of ideas, and also abundance of security. So there does seem to be some sort of learning or training coming up for the future. Now, you may be in the position of training or teaching others, or you may be learning and working with teams and groups. Either way, you will be working with teams and groups, whether you're on one side of it or the other. But it's either a learning time for Scorpio, and it's a time of mentoring or teaching. Now, when we're a mentor or teacher, we are always learning as well. So, that's process. But what's important is the people, the groups, the teams you're working with. It feels like, again, really good connections going on there. You've got a sort of unique way of doing things and a unique way of explaining things. And, you may not want to be too full on, because it's like, well, if I'm doing a lot of this, this area, then am I, able to fulfill this other area? So again, balance is what's always important, because, balance with your passion and your ideas. So, you might be a bit resistant to going, okay, I'm doing this full time, but, I can do it for this many hours, this much a week. Now, that, again, could be relative to your studies, which I feel there'll be flexibility, or your training. This could be relative to an apprenticeship. But I feel like it's more like training or studies, because we're talking teams. Good news around security for Scorpio. So where you felt a bit stuck in the past, where you feel like, whether it's to do with the property, a mortgage, or, it feels like you can start to free things up. So again, good news around property and having more and relative to your assets. You will see how your investments can work for you, but you also see how you can achieve a lot more. You could look at moving. There's a lot to do with the home and where you really want to be. So again, with that Pluto sort of moving into the fourth, it's going to really inspire and be the start of some bigger changes for your home environment. It looks like a lot of work can be done from home for Scorpio, or in a place that feels like home. But, so again, this could be why you're looking at the home situation, if it needs extending or expanding or even moving. There could be for some a property, a better property or better situation offered to you if you're not happy where you are. And otherwise, it could just be a leg up, as in being able to get into something that you're really wanting for yourself. Because again, you've got a sum of money coming in, you've got good news. So anything you're wanting, anything you've been thinking about for quite a while, this is the time to actually just ask the universe, because you're right in this perfect timing. Beautiful Ace of Swords there with the abundance card, and it's rich and abundant on all levels. So it looks like Scorpio are going to be working sort of, independently in some ways. Some Scorpios will, with their creative mind. It's like if you've got a business here, you might be connected to writing, or communication in some big way. You might have, it's like you've got a variety of skills going on here, and you've got a great heart and intention to help others, and it feels like your information that you're giving out, and it's going to be really stimulating and interesting with a lot of variety going on, which is great. Scorpios are very good at a particular subject and honing in and learning everything about that, and sometimes to a pinpoint, where I'm seeing this more of like a Gemini thing of, let's give a lot of different information. So it's like you can spread out your mind more, you can spread out, it's like you can utilize all these different skills that you have and you've been working on, and bring them together into formatting into the one thing, into the one business, or to the one situation and career. It does seem to be, a time for, really supporting writing and communicating with others within your work. And I feel there's a higher purpose to this work. It's you're following your soul path, we'll put it that way. And so when I say a higher purpose, even if you feel like you're not really doing it, well, you may not feel like this is really helping people, I think you're undermining yourself, because it's saying that what you're doing and what you're offering is really beneficial and really helpful to others. So Scorpio is getting prepared for a bigger cycle, which looks like it's going to be happening next year for you guys, as in this is going to be the cycle to really reap the rewards of all your hard efforts. And I think there'll be some shifts of energy going on around that time. So this is a year preparing you for this. This is a year where you get in and work with the people that you're meant to be working with, and interact with the people you're meant to be interacting with, to prepare you for this new huge cycle that is coming. And this is when you're going to feel you have full control in your circumstances. You may, if you're working for others, you may look at working for yourself more. It's like you're working towards that this year, but next year will be the year where you really incorporate all your skills. It's a year, what I call where you reap your rewards for all your hard effort. It's where you come to the end of a cycle and you might feel like, what's next? What am I going to step into and do next? But firstly, sit back and enjoy and receive the rewards for the cycle you've been in before you're ready to jump into the next one. And so, this is what you have going on for the next 2 years. But I feel like for this year, there's a lot to do with people, connections, soul connections, and the ones that you're meant to be working with. Any connections, soul connections, family, friendships, relationships, like I said, if there's been disappointments around that. And when I say relationships, it doesn't have to be your marriage or your personal relationships. It can be family. But it's people that you care about and the people that you don't really want to have these disputes with. This is like I feel like, you're clearing that, you're sorting that, you're standing strong in your convictions of what you know is right, but you are understanding with more empathy and connection their side of things as well. And I feel like that's where you're just sort of clearing any negative energies of dispute or difference from the past, and clearing that so you're not carrying that through to the future. So it looks really good for Scorpio. I don't know what more to say. Like I said, great for money, great for property, great for work, great for things to come back into balance. And what I really like here is your connections, especially in the new learning that you're doing with these people. of your soul family, because, you know, this is where you're going to see, you used to doing a lot on your own, but you're going to get to see how adaptable you actually are. You know, Scorpio, you know, they like to do things on their own. They've got their own way of doing things. And, you know, this is about sort of being able to keep your own unique energy, but how you can incorporate it with others and build on things so much faster. You can do so much more with others and within groups than you can do just on your own. And this is just still expanding for you in quite a large way this year, Scorpio. So I hope you enjoyed that, Scorpio. We're going to have a look now at Pisces. So, hello to all you Pisces. Let's have a look at your astrology for this new moon equinox. So we have a new moon that falls exactly on the equinox. So I'm doing one video, and where I'd normally do two. I'm doing one because I'd normally do a separate one for the new moon and a separate one for the equinox. So this is a really important chart that we've got going on here. And just a reminder that I've actually done a more in-depth talk on this in my first video, which is just titled The New Moon Equinox, the Astrological New Year, because it is the Astrological New Year. 0 degrees Aries is the beginning of the cycle. It's like the beginning of, you know, how we measured the seasons was the equinoxes and solstices. Back in the day, it was our original calendar. So, you know, the energies, you know, January the 1st is our apparent new year. But, you know, really I've always felt that it starts on March 21st when we kick into 0 degrees Aries. So, you know, for what I'm looking at now, we're looking at the new moon cycle, which is a month. We're looking at the equinox cycle, which is 3 months, and we're looking at the yearly cycle, the new year cycle as well. So really this is, you know, this spread is sort of covering the whole year, not with all the details because we've got more astrology to come, we've got more equinoxes and solstices to set new tones, but you know, it's sort of just really colouring the energy of what the new year is about. So looking at the astrology for Pisces, and firstly we look at the sun moon, of course, being the new moon solstice at 0 degrees, and Pisces has it in the 2nd sector. Also Mercury and Jupiter are there in Aries, so you know this is the 2nd sector is the sector of finances, it's the sector of your assets, it's also the position of your values. So these are the things that are going to be holding a lot of importance to you and where your focus will be for you know, for the year, also for the next 3 months. So great position, because it's a great position if you're wanting to build on finances, if you're wanting to create more success or have more things for yourself. It's also the perfect time for, with Mercury and Jupiter there, for you to be planning, you know, things around property or things around assets, and also expanding on property and assets. So, you know, that's the theme. Now, the Venus node conjunction, which is another lovely aspect, is in your 3rd sector, Pisces. So that's all relative to your family, your siblings, and also your soul family. So, you know, it's also about where you communicate. So this is really good for Pisces, for communication, for their relationships. It means that they're going to be able to, sometimes Pisces keep a lot inwards, being the water sign. You know, they're going to be able to really communicate their emotions and their love for others, and also this is be able to sort of stretch out and show a lot more love for others within their social connections, the important ones, like I said, the soul family. Mars, which is just a bit, well, it's going into Cancer on the 25th of this month after the equinox happens, and that's going to be sitting in your 5th sector. So that's such a creative space for Pisces to be in. So this is one of your, you know, strong creative years where your focus is going to be again on, well, it will be on your children with Mars there, but it's also your place of creativity. It's a place of manifestation. It means that you can, gives you a double dose of being able to manifest, being able to create the spaces you want. It really enhances your ability to shine this year, but also your ability to really set up some really enjoyable situations for yourself, as well as some really good situations for your children or siblings. You will feel more like entertaining this year. You'll feel more like doing things that you love to do, you know, without guilt, because of being the fifth sector, Leo. And, you know, your focus will be on a lot of it on sort of what you're going to do for fun. Great. So let's have a look for Pisces, what Tarot wants to talk about, what the universe wants you to know about for this cycle, this 1 month, 3 month, 1 year cycle. So I feel the focus is 3 months, but like I said, it does carry the energy of the whole year. There'll be way more information to talk about throughout the year as well. Yeah, you're already, Pisces, you're already getting fantastic cards. Your card has come up, the Queen of Cups. But, you know, with the world and this sort of enjoyment card, social card, let's have some fun. You know, this is, you know, he's a jolly man with probably a few too many beers under his belt. But, you know, this is about enjoying yourself. It's been a hard couple of years where things have felt a bit intense, and it just feels this year is going to be really good for a lot of people. But for Pisces here, it's showing, you know, a lot of rewards for hard effort. So, and a lot of freedom coming. And freedom, you know, that, you know, of course, a holiday is always very freeing and liberating. We get out of our routine. We feel so much more connected. But I feel that this is also freedom in lots of ways. It could be more financial freedom. It could be more personal freedom. Wow. You've got a mixed bag here. So Pisces, you know, I did say you're going to have a great year, and you do have things here to support that. But of course, it never comes without a bit of struggle, and you do have some sort of difficult-looking cards coming up in the near future. So I don't know quite what's going on here, as I'm trying to relate to it astrologically, but we won't worry about that, because I would find it if I had the time. But Pisces, we're all processing. We are all, you know, when I say all signs are processing some energies that are, you know, what I call the lower frequencies, the lower energies. These are feelings of guilt. These that, and generally people that, you know, are easily manipulated carry feelings of guilt, and there's generally the guilt's sort of, there's no validity to the guilt. In fact, the ones that should feel the guilt don't, and they just keep creating similar karma and projecting guilt onto others. So, you know, what I'm saying here is that I think all the signs are going through their lessons on shifting out of any of those lower vibrations. Now, Pisces is a very highly tuned vibrational sign. You know, everything is quite dependent on, and this is the same for most people, you know, it's dependent on our feelings, how we wake up, how we feel that day. You know, and they can feel really uplifted one day, they can feel really down and negative the next. It, you know, just depends on how much struggle they feel like they've been going through. Now, Pisces is going to release any of those negative feelings over the next 6 weeks. Now, it doesn't look pleasant. It's all a little bit dark and scary, but it's really just because, you know, there's one, Pisces carries, you know, they've got big shoulders. They carry a lot on their shoulders as far as feeling responsible for everyone. They may not worry about some practical things because they're quite, you know, have a lot of faith in the universe, but they do worry about others. They worry about the people they love. They worry about the people they're close to, and that they're all good. So I feel like, you know, they take a lot of that on board, and sometimes you just got to, you know, let it go and just remember that each soul chooses their own path and their direction, and you cannot control what others are doing. You can only control your reaction to people's behaviour. So, I mean, Pisces isn't, you know, what we see as a controlling sign, but you know, Pisces is actually esoterically ruled by Pluto. So, you know, at a spiritual level, we want everything to be right. We want everything to be positive for those we love. And when it's not, we you know, we like to change that, or we even use our energy to change it. We'll shift it, we'll visualize it, and that's really helpful. But, you know, sometimes we may not be helping certain people to get the lessons. So what I'm saying here is that there's things that Pisces carry that they have no control over, that they've actually got to release. And, you know, this is embedded in their fears of, you know, losing a loved one, a child, a situation, you know. They they're going to get the opportunity to release any fears, and also any fears around being that needing to be liked or accepted. If any Pisces that feel that, I mean, Pisces are pretty strong-minded and they pretty much follow their own path, but they do want people to like them. They don't. They're not people pleasers in any way. They won't just do something because you say so, but they don't like it when somebody doesn't like the fact that they're not a people pleaser or they're not doing what that person wants them to do. At the same time, Pisces are very good at giving out advice and telling others what they should be doing. So, you know, there is sort of underlining very subtle energy of control there, but it's really just because they're wanting the best things, you know, unless you've got a really negative Pisces, but I'm sure there wouldn't be any listening to my videos. So for you Pisces, don't take the world on your shoulders. Don't worry about if somebody's not resonating with what you're trying to achieve or what you're trying to do. Don't worry if you're not being recognised for that. Now, don't worry if you're getting negativity thrown at you and you can't understand why would someone be so cruel. You know, Pisces, actually, they're the last sign of the zodiac. They do have a really good understanding of all the other zodiac. They do have a really good understanding of other people. So use your wisdom and use your understanding and use the fact that you've been through the whole cycle at least once and probably hundreds and thousands of times. That, you know, that everyone's got their own perspective. You know, you're the one sign that can fully understand what it's like to be in other people's shoes. So maybe utilize that side of it and try to understand that this person is in pain and that they're projecting this energy onto you because of their own personal pain. And, you know, why you? Because you are a receptive being, because you're open, because, you know, it's like the clairvoyant saying, why did that spirit present itself to me? Well, it's like there'll be many reasons, but one of them is because you can see. So it's like, because you can feel, because you can absorb, because you can take that off them, that will be sometimes projected onto you. So I feel like any fears, they could be very deep-seated, they could be really relative to past actions or past situations where you've felt really knocked down. Pisces, you know, they just get up again, of course, but, you know, they get up a bit wounded. You know, where Capricorn will get up and get up and get up many times, but they will just shut that person off, you know, burn that bridge and have nothing to do with them. In fact, sometimes they burn too many bridges. But for Pisces, it's like this, if they're still trying to understand it, they're still suffering from it. Stop trying to understand. I know you have a good understanding of people. Feel what it's like to be in their shoes and feel what it's like to be the damaged person that they are. When I say don't feel it, don't tune into their energy or you'll feel terrible, but just accept it. Just accept that this person is, you're dealing with a damaged person in many cases. So, you know, accept that, you can let that go. But any experiences that have been in the past where, you've you know, you've stepped forward into your dream, into your ideal, and it didn't quite work out, and, you know, there was negativity being leaked into the situations that have, you know, could have been affecting things as well. But this isn't about blame. This isn't about saying, oh, this person. That's actually about saying, okay, well, I learned a lot from that. I'm now ready again to step into a new perspective and a new situation without the fear. So, like I said, clearing these energies. Meditation is also really, really helpful at this time while you're feeling this. So on that note, that was a bit of a you know, it's like it's either bright, fantastic, or really dark. But when I say dark, it's only the mind. It's, you know, the mind, you can change it. You can change it instant. The mind doesn't have any control over you. It can, and it does affect us, but it shouldn't have any control over you. The higher mind should be dictating the truth to you, because the higher mind knows everything. It knows why everything is happening. It even knows why you're going through this experience at that time you go through it. The lower mind won't. The lower mind will just tell you that, you know, all the negative things and reinforce that. So, you know, this is a really important experience for you to go through to clear something, to really move into a much brighter time. So for Pisces, I'm getting a communication of excitement. Now you've got two aces together. I'll show you these cards because it's quite nice when you see two aces, very strong. So with Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Now that's your emotional excitement and your physical excitement. This is also, the Ace of Swords also like yes, the answer is yes. It's a winning card. It's like something victorious, something that you've wanted, something that's going to happen, that is going to free you to receive what you want. Now, the card in the middle, this is saying this is coming through wonderful communications. Could be coming through partnerships, but otherwise it's coming through great friendships. And for me, this card, this Two of Cups, is very much about friendship. It's very much about having a really strong soul connection and friendship and sharing. So, it may not come through friendship, it may just come through communication, but whatever it is that you're excited about, that's connected to your heart, it's connected to your ideas, you are very excited, and the energy of the people that you'll be working with, or the person that's telling you, is going to be one of a true soul connection, a true blissful connection. So this is a very, very special, exciting time with this going on. So I feel like, sure which is happening first, this sort of clearing the fear before this happens, or maybe this happens and then it's like, okay, I've just had more light come into my life, into my body, to my light body as well, and now something's needing to come out. And so it's a little bit like when you do spiritual work on yourself, and the next thing, this thing hits you like a brick, and it's like, it's this heavy energy of something that felt really down, and it's always to do with the past. It's like, and you go, why is this happening? I've just done this, spiritual work, I should be uplifted. And it's like, as you let more light in, the dark gets forced to the surface. There was always dark that we carry. There's always fear that we carry. It gets forced to the surface to go, okay, let's clear something else that's going to, that can potentially stop you in your tracks, or have you doubting yourself, have you not trusting your intuition. And that seems to me about things that haven't worked out. It's about, dwelling on what doesn't work, what's not working. So don't dwell, Pisces. Just clear it away and go, well, next time, thank you for the lesson. Next time, with my new opportunity, or when I receive the next opportunity, it's going to be so much better and I'm going to be so much wiser. So, new plans are coming in. You've got the third ace here, the four aces. You've got all the aces. So, there's a new plan. It's coming in fast. It's being presented to you. Do you want to be part of it? I feel you're going to be part of it. I feel you're going to be a big part of it. And then new work situations where you can start to really save money, where you can start to really move forward. So, you've got the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Rods, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. Now that covers all elements. It's covering your love. It's covering, your ideas, your desires. It's covering your energy, where it's like, okay, you can physically move forward. This is the initiation of something new. And it's also saying that your finances are going to improve in quite a big way. Your work is going to change and grow. It could be what you're already establishing for yourself, but you're going to grow it to a much stronger level, and it's going to be very secure for yourself with the Four of Pentacles there. There's going to be some decisions about where you want to be. For some reason, the universe is taking you, spending time in the home, but spending time away from the home. The universe could be saying for some that you could be relocating, and this could be really good news, especially if you have like partner abroad or people you wanting to connect with that are overseas. That's all going to be plans for that. There is some travel here, but I feel like part of this is work, part of this is actually where you're establishing your home. So some you're going to be just having holidays to connect up with others. Some you're going to be taking your partner or the people you love and going on a holiday, and that's going to be a lovely thing to do. Some are going to be working overseas, some are going to be moving overseas, because, with this, I've got the overseas card, I've got the connection card, the reunion card, and also the death card. So the death card sort of finalises things, sort of saying that, at one level, I feel like this is saying that you're going to have freedom like you've never had before. You've got lots of reason to celebrate, and, you can work however you want in your own way. But also for others, it's like you're going to move to an environment where you're going to feel fully free. And this is the moving card here. See, this is your home situation. This to me is the moving of your assets, your property. And this is a decision about doing that. And, you know, here you've got what's covering you is sort of like this situation of having to go away, having to go somewhere. But this is part-time. When I have the Seven of Swords here, you know, 5 swords here and 2 left behind, it's like, got to go here, got to spend some time, maybe 6 months in one place, and then maybe I'll be back 6 months later. So, or you might have a relationship where you've got to spend the week, you know, and this person lives, you know, in a different area, and you spend the week in one place for work and then the weekends with partner. So, you know, it's sort of like your time's divided up with that. But like I said, for some, there'll be, you know, quite big changes in the home environment, especially with what's here at the base. But the changes are you're moving into better situations of security. Just got to make the right decisions, as in these decisions. Again, for others, you know, it could be really special, like traveling to connect up with someone who's going to be a really special connection for you, for projects, for love, or for business. Looks really fab. Pisces, you know, to see all these aces. When you see all these aces, this is you saying that you're shifting into a new cycle. Firstly, it's about connections, it's communication. Then it's about taking the actions, making the decisions, laying down your foundations, and doing the journey, doing the trip. You know, for some, there might be a real big trip that you've been wanting to do that you're going to get to do. And maybe you decide, okay, I've got lots of work on. Before I go and get stuck into this, I'm going to give myself a 2-week holiday, or I might give myself a 2-month holiday. Whatever it is, it feels like it's going to be a good space. We're not just talking about a weekend here or a week over here. And I feel like we're not really just talking about a holiday down here, or, you know, in your own country. I feel like we're talking overseas. But in some cases, there will be situations where, you know, we'll have 2 people that have found each other and are finally ready to, you know, share their life, but they're having to sort of juggle their environments until they can live together, so there would be distance in their own country. Great. So I hope you enjoyed that, Pisces, and you'll have a great day. Bye.